All right. So, this one is going to have 3 recipes in it, okay? And some different flavorings and things like that. So, the first recipe is on peach wine. So, grab your pen and paper, guys, and write this down. If you guys are going to be trying to make some homemade wines, you might want to write the recipes down, guys. I'm going to be writing these and putting these in my binder. So, all right, you ready? Pen and paper. Peach wine. The peachy flavor of this wine makes it lovely for sipping or for making coolers. You know, wine coolers? Use very ripe fruit. Greener fruits have more pectin, making the wine more difficult to clear. 3 to 3.5 pounds of ripe peaches, about 10 peaches. Ooh, we don't need that many. 2 quarts of water, boiled and cooled. 3 pounds of granulated sugar. Remember to use raw cane sugar. You want this to be healthy, you guys, okay? Even though it sounds funny because it's alcohol, okay? But it's fermented, so it's going to be all natural, raw. It's not going to be heated. You're going to get the benefits from everything in there. So use raw cane sugar. 1 teaspoon of acid blend, a half teaspoon of tannin, or a tablespoon of strong tea. 1 Campden tablet, that's Campden. That's optional. 1 package, 5 to 7 grams of wine yeast. Make sure it's wine yeast, not bread yeast. 1 teaspoon of yeast nutrient. 1.5 cups of tepid orange juice. 1 to 2 teaspoons of pectic enzyme. Okay. Number 1, wash the peaches and slice them into a 2-gallon plastic container. Toss in the pits too. Add the cooled water in which you've dissolved 1.5 pounds of the sugar, the acid blend, the tannin, and the Campden tablet if desired. Wait 24 hours before proceeding. Number 2, make a yeast starter culture by combining the wine yeast and yeast nutrient with the orange juice. Cover, shake vigorously, and let stand until bubbly, about 1 to 2 hours. Add to the must. Number 3, add the pectic enzyme, ferment for 3 days. Number 4, rack or strain the wine into another container. Discard the solids. Number 5, boil the remaining sugar in water to cover. Let cool and add it to the other ingredients with enough water to make 1 gallon. Ferment for 10 days or until the energetic bubbling slows down. Rack the wine into a 1-gallon airlocked fermentation vessel. Ferment to completion. Number 6, bottle, cork, and cellar your wine. Wait at least 3 months before serving, and it makes 1 gallon. Okay, that was peach wine. Now the next one is grape Melomel, and that's known as Pyment. Pyment. This fine country wine was popular in ancient Egypt, where wild grapes and honey abounded. All right, here's the recipe. 3 pounds of light honey. That's a lot of honey. Well, maybe. So look at my jars. 3 pounds of Concord grapes. 1 Campden tablet, optional. 1 packet of 5 to 7 grams of champagne yeast. 1 teaspoon of yeast nutrient. Make sure it's not bread yeast, you guys. Hang on just a second. Sorry. Our dog was going somewhere where she wasn't supposed to be. Okay. 1.5 cups of tepid orange juice and 1 teaspoon of pectic enzyme. Number 1, remove impurities from the honey by boiling 1 part honey with 2 parts water in a large non-reactive pot and skimming off the foam. I don't know about that one. I'll have to look that one up because the boiling is going to destroy nutrients in it too. So, cool. Number 2, in a 2-gallon plastic container, crush the grapes. Number 3, add the honey and water mixture. Pour in water to top off to 1 gallon if needed. Add a Campden tablet if desired. Let the mixture stand for 24 hours well covered, stirring 2 or 3 times in an up and down motion to introduce oxygen into the mixture. Number 4, make a yeast starter culture by combining the champagne yeast and yeast nutrient with the orange juice. Cover, shake vigorously, and let stand until bubbly. Sorry, my nose itches. 1 to 3 hours. Incorporate into the must. Add the pectic enzyme. Number 5, ferment for 5 days and strain out the solids. Transfer the liquid to an airlocked vessel. Rack after 2 weeks. When all fermentation has ceased, bottle, cork, and cellar the wine. Wait 6 months or more before opening. Makes about 1 gallon. Really? Sorry, hang on, guys.
You grew up in Chicago.
Okay. All right, so that was that for the grape Melomel, and that's Melomel. All right, the next one is herb or dried flower petal wine. I might actually try this too, because there's rose petal wine. Many delicious wines are made from herbs or flower petals. When using fresh herbs or petals, increase the amount to 1 to 4 pints, depending on your taste and how strongly flavored the herb or flower is. 2 ounces dried herbs or flower petals, 1 quart of water, 1 pound of minced sultanas or other light raisins. Okay, I'd use raisins. Or juice of 3.5 to 4 pounds of grapes. I'd do that too. 1 teaspoon of citric acid or 2 teaspoons of acid blend. 1 teaspoon of tannin, 1 Campden tablet, optional. 1 package of wine yeast, make sure it's wine yeast. 1.5 cups of tepid orange juice, 2.5 pounds of granulated sugar for dry wines. Be sure it's not refined, nasty refined sugars. 2 3/4 for sweet. All right. 1, place the herbs in an enamel or glass saucepan with water. Bring the mixture to boil, simmer for 20 minutes. Number 2, transfer to a 2-gallon plastic container. Add the raisins, citric acid, and tannin. Allow the mixture to cool. Add a Campden tablet if desired, and let the mixture sit covered for 24 hours. Make a yeast starter culture by combining the wine yeast and yeast nutrient with the orange juice. Cover, shake vigorously, and let stand until bubbly about 1 to 3 hours. Add to the must. Also, make sure it is wine yeast and not bread yeast. Bread yeast will not work in wines, you guys. Number 4, loosely cover the pulp and allow it to ferment for 3 days. Rack the liquid into a 1-gallon fermentation vessel that can be fitted with an airlock. Add the desired amount of sugar and water to make 1 gallon. Fit the airlock and let the wine ferment to completion, 3 to 4 weeks. Bottle, cork, and cellar the wine. Makes 1 gallon. Note: whenever you use flowers in wine or cooking, make sure they come from edible plants. The oleander bloom is toxic, as are the flowers of lily of the valley. If you aren't sure that it's edible, don't use it. And you can always get online and look it up, you guys. Remember, do your research, and that's how you know. And your edible flowers, you're going to want those in your gardens, because you're going to want the nutrients from those, you guys. Old-timer methods. A crock made airtight by a plate and a handful of dried beans to hold it down, and great-grandpa was in the winemaking business. He probably nicked a little of great-grandma's bread yeast to get the fermentation process started, then waited patiently for nature to take its course. Okay, well, I suppose you can use it, But the wine yeast is probably the best for taste. So I take that back. If his wine was cloudy after repeated siphoning and straining over several months' time, he added a dried eggshell or two to clear the mixture. He siphoned the liquid into jugs or bottles a few days later, driving the cork home with a block of wood and a hammer. And there's the picture for that. There. All right. Flavorings for herb or flower wine. To get you started, here are some ingredients that may be used in the herb or dried flower petal wine. Blech. Agrimony, bramble tips, burnet, coltsfoot flowers, cowslip flowers, dandelion, elderflowers, and those are two really good ones because those are very healthy. Elecampane root, rhubarb stalks. Remember, do not eat the rhubarb leaves, they're poisonous. Lemon balm, ooh, that would be really good. Rosemary and rose petals. Now, I would like to try some rose petal wine. And that is it for the winemaking. And the next, we're on to cider making, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one up there, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, guys.